She called 50 people that night. 50. I watched her pace the living room, foam pressed tight to her ear, voice low and shaking. Her hair was pulled back like it always was when she got nervous, and her fingers trembled every time she hung up and tried again. I asked her who she was calling. She didn't answer. Maybe she already knew she was about to disappear forever. It's strange how people remember the fatal party. Some talk about the music, others about the way the beer ran out early. A few remember the dress she wore, white, with those little blue flowers she liked. No one remembers how she vanished. That's what they call it now, a vanishing act, like some kind of magic trick. But it wasn't magic. It was something far worse. They say it was a party gone wrong, a tragic night where something unthinkable happened. Her name was Elena Moore, 27, kind, funny, a teacher at the local elementary school. And yeah, she was mine. We were together for nearly 10 years. High school sweethearts, they called us. Everyone thought we'd get married someday. So when she went missing, I was the first one they hugged, the one they cried with, the one they trusted. I held her mother's hand and told her I'd do anything to bring her baby girl home. But the whole time, I already knew. I knew about the phone call clues, the last step she took, the silence that followed. They still call it an unsolved mystery, a disturbing disappearance, but there's no mystery here. Just me and Elena, and the moment everything fell apart. Elena and I met in 10th grade. She was the kind of girl who made everyone feel seen, the one who remembered your birthday, who stayed late after class to help someone struggling with math. She wanted to teach kids because she believed in second chances. I think that's why she stayed with me so long. She thought I could be better. And for a while, I tried. I really did, but life, it wore on us. I got stuck bartending, picking up shifts I didn't care about while she kept climbing, certifications, workshops, volunteer work. I started to feel like a shadow in her world. And when I cheated on her, it wasn't about love or passion. It was about escape, about proving to myself that I still mattered. She found out 3 weeks before the party. She didn't scream or throw things. She just looked at me with this tired sort of pain, like she'd been expecting it. She asked me if it was serious. I told her no. She didn't leave. But something inside her started to pull away after that. The day of her birthday, the day of the fatal party, Elena was restless. She moved through the apartment like she was looking for something, but didn't know what. Then came the calls, 50 phone calls, friends, family, even people she hadn't spoken to in years. She called my sister, her old college roommate, her ex, and then she called 911. Not once, but 3 times, but she never stayed on the line long enough to talk. Just silence, then click. I asked her what was going on, and she told me not to worry, that she just needed to hear voices, that sometimes people just need to know they're not alone. She smiled at me when she said it, but it was the saddest smile I've ever seen. Like she was saying goodbye without the words. She wore that white dress with the blue flowers, left her journal open on the bed. I didn't read it, not then. I didn't need to. I knew what it would say, that she was leaving me, that she was done waiting for me to grow up, to change, to become the man she used to believe I could be. We drove to the party in silence. Lacey, her best friend, had rented out the back room of a local brewery. Everyone was there. Old friends, co-workers, her students' parents. Elena laughed and danced, but it felt forced. Her eyes kept scanning the crowd like she was looking for someone. At one point, she pulled me into the kitchen. No one else was there. She whispered that she was going to tell them, everyone, about what I did, about the messages she found. She said she'd had enough of lying, that she deserved better. I told her we could talk at home, that it wasn't the time or place. She shook her head, told me I didn't get to decide that anymore. That was when I felt something crack inside me, something small, sharp, and final. They say the disappearance happened after midnight, that Elena walked out and vanished into thin air. But it wasn't like that, not at all. She didn't vanish, I followed her, and the night didn't go wrong. I made it go wrong. People think violence comes in loud moments, screaming, fighting, chaos. But that's not how it happened, not with Elena. When I look back on that night, all I remember is the quiet. After she left the party room, I followed. I told Lacey I was going to check on her, that she'd had too much to drink. No one thought twice. Elena walked across the gravel lot toward the tree line behind the brewery, the moonlight catching her dress. She moved slowly, like she was dragging the weight of everything we'd become behind her. I caught up to her at the edge of the woods. She didn't look at me, just kept walking. I asked her to stop. She did. She turned around, her face calm, too calm, like she'd already made peace with what was about to happen. "I'm leaving," she said. "I've already made arrangements. Lacey's helping me move tomorrow. I'm done, Caleb." I begged her to wait, told her I'd fix it, that we could go to therapy, start over. She shook her head. "You had years to fix it," she said, "but you didn't want to. You just wanted control." That word, control, it lit something in me, like a switch. She didn't scream when I grabbed her wrist. She didn't yell when I pushed her back. She just stared at me wide-eyed, like she couldn't believe I was doing it. Then she tried to use her phone. She unlocked it, thumb hovering over the contact list. Probably about to call Lacey or 911 again. I couldn't let her. I reached out and slapped the phone from her hand. It clattered against a rock. I remember that sound clearly. Sharp and final. She shoved me. I shoved her back, harder. Her foot caught on a root and she stumbled, hitting her head on a low branch as she fell. She didn't move right away. Her breathing was shallow, like she was fighting to stay in her body. I knelt beside her, told her it was going to be okay, that I'd get help, but I didn't move. I sat there for what felt like minutes, just watching her, watching the light leave her eyes. And somewhere in that silence, I made a choice. I dragged her deeper into the woods, through brush and mud, until we were far enough away from the brewery that no one would hear. I found a low spot behind a fallen tree and started covering her with leaves and dirt. My hands moved on their own. My mind went blank. I found her phone and scrolled through it. The call log showed what I feared. Dozens of attempts, some connected. One, near the end, had started dialing 911. She must have hit send right before I stopped her. I powered it off, wiped it down with my sleeve, and tossed it under a rotted log a few feet from where I buried her. Not deep, just enough to hide her from view. I didn't have time for anything else. Then I walked back to the party. I cleaned my hands in the bathroom sink, splashed water on my face. I found Lacey, told her I couldn't find Elena, and asked if she'd gone home. She said no. We checked the parking lot together, acted worried together. I even helped file the missing person report the next morning. They said it was a party gone wrong, a tragic night. A woman who just disappeared after her own birthday. Some people guessed she was taken, others thought maybe she ran. But no one looked at me and saw a killer. Not the man who held her hand through 10 years of birthdays. Not the man who bought her flowers and kissed her goodnight. That was the trick, wasn't it? The real vanishing act wasn't hers, it was mine. I disappeared right in front of everyone, and no one even noticed. The next morning, the panic began. Elena didn't come home. Her phone went straight to voicemail. Lacey called me first, frantic. I played the role like I was born for it. Told her I hadn't seen Elena since she walked out to get some air. That I thought maybe she caught a ride home. That maybe she just needed space after our argument. By noon, her parents were on their way from Raleigh. By evening, the flyers were being printed. Woman missing after birthday party. With that same photo of her in the sun, laughing, the one she used on her school ID. People shared it everywhere. The hashtag started. Find Elena. Missing woman. Tragic night. I sat next to her mother while she cried. Promised her we'd do whatever it took. I handed out flyers. I lit candles at the vigil. I even cried when I spoke at the school where Elena worked. Said she was the light in every room. Said I just wanted her to come home. But inside, something was breaking. I couldn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw her lying there, half buried beneath the trees. I heard her voice echoing from the past. You just wanted control. And sometimes, in the silence of early morning, I swore I could still hear her phone ringing, vibrating from beneath the dirt. Then came the news. They found her phone. It was damp, damaged, but still had partial data. They said she made 50 phone calls the night she vanished. One of them, just one, had connected with 911, but it cut off. All they got was a burst of static and a whisper they couldn't quite make out. That was when the whispers about me started. quiet at first, then louder. But I smiled, I cried, I mourned, and they believed me. Because guilt looks a lot like grief when you wear it right. The investigation moved fast at first. Local news called it a disturbing disappearance, and the police labeled Elena a high-risk missing person because of the sheer volume of phone call clues she left behind. 50 in total, most went unanswered. The ones that did connect offered nothing. Some friends thought she was drunk. Others said she sounded scared. But no one knew what to do. Detectives started pulling surveillance from the brewery and nearby streets. I watched them work from across the room during their interviews, pretending to be shattered. I told them Elena had been under stress, that she'd been emotional lately, and maybe she just needed to get away. They asked about the 911 calls, and I said I had no idea. That maybe she thought someone was following her. Maybe she just panicked. One of them, Detective Hall, didn't buy it. She had this quiet way of watching me, taking in what I said and didn't say. She asked me to walk her through the night again. So I did, word for word, like I'd rehearsed it in my head 100 times. They asked for my phone. I handed it over willingly. Nothing to hide there. I'd wiped everything clean the morning after. Even reset it to factory settings. Said it glitched out during the party. They brought in search dogs. They combed the woods behind the brewery for days, but they searched too far west. I had dragged her east, toward a service road, covered her with brush in a place they never even touched. Still, every minute they were out there, I felt like I couldn't breathe. Every time a body was found in the state, I braced myself. But it was never her. Elena became another case, another unsolved mystery. People wore her photo on shirts at fundraisers. The local news called her the teacher who vanished after her final calls. They ran old videos of her reading to students, smiling. They painted her like an angel, and she was, which made it even harder. Harder to smile in public. Harder to look her parents in the eyes. Harder to live in a world that still believed I was the grieving boyfriend. But I had to, because once you've crossed a line like that, there's no going back. The detectives still call sometimes. Just routine follow-ups, they say, and I keep playing my part. Because once you disappear someone, you have to bury the truth with them. Some nights, I dream she walks back through the door. No dirt in her hair, no bruises, no blood. Just Elena, alive, whole. She smiles at me like none of it ever happened. And for a moment, I believe it. But then, I wake up. And the silence that follows is worse than any scream. It's been over a year now. People still talk about her like she's coming back, like she just needed time. They don't say it out loud, but you can feel it. Hope dying a little more each day. The town still holds a memorial every spring. They read her favorite poem, light candles, say prayers. I go too. I stand at the edge of the crowd, quiet, watching, pretending. That's the thing about killing someone you love. It doesn't feel like victory. It's not rage or relief. It's just emptiness. Cold, permanent emptiness. I thought ending it would give me control again, but all it gave me was a lifetime sentence I can't escape. They still call it a mysterious case, the vanishing act of Elena Moore. A woman missing, swallowed up by the dark. But the truth is, she didn't just disappear. I made her vanish. And every day I walk free, I carry that weight. Sometimes I think about confessing, going to the station, telling Detective Hall everything. But I never do. Because the truth? I'm a coward. I buried the best thing that ever happened to me, and I left the world wondering why. And maybe that's the worst part. They'll never stop asking what happened to her, and I'll never stop knowing the answer.
Every crime leaves a trail, but not every trail leads to the truth. What's your theory? Drop it in the comments. I want to hear how you see it. If this case got you thinking, hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe. Real Crime, Murder, and Mystery drops a new case every single day. You won't want to miss what's coming tomorrow.